It is true that this sum cannot be accounted for. This is grotesque form of corruption. Just think, at 5 million naira per vehicle, this money would have bought 840,000 petrol vehicles. This would have improved security in every town and village in this country. At 13.5 million for a high-capacity bus, this money would have bought 311 buses. This would have revolutionized the transport and production side of the economy. From information at my disposal, Lekki Bridge in Lagos cost 29 billion naira to construct. 4.2 trillion would have built 145 Lekki bridges. This would have revolutionized transport, infrastructure, construction, employment in the economy. Is the average cost of generating 1 megawatt of power is about 1.5 million United States dollars, excluding gas and distribution costs. $20 billion would have bought us some 13,333 megawatts of power. What a difference that would have made up and down the country. If you also factor 2.2 trillion spent on subsidizing fuel import, which became a huge scandal, you may then understand why our manifesto focuses on the issues of security, corruption, and the economy. We are too vulnerable as a nation at this moment if we have to import fuel to move our planes, our tanks, and our men. We are too vulnerable, as you can see, that we also have to import arms. We are vulnerable because our troops also depend on imported food. We cannot continue like this. After reading the speech I was given to regurgitate to you, again, I was served with a note which I think I'm competent enough to discuss with you based on my experience. I am sure you can identify whose writing did this. I think whoever passed the note, which I meant to keep secret, was not unmindful of achievements when we were in NNPC. If you could recall, we used to have only one refinery in Port Harcourt, refining 50,000 Nigerian barrels a day. It was upgraded to 100,000 barrels a day. Another one was co-built in Port Harcourt to produce another 150,000 barrels a day. So Port Harcourt alone used to have the capacity to refine 250,000 barrels a day of Nigerian crude. Then I personally signed the contract for a refinery, another 100,000 barrels, purely Nigerian crude. And then Kaduna refinery, 100,000 barrels a day, 50,000 barrels a day of heavy crude, which could be Venezuelan or Middle Eastern one, 50,000, so that we can produce heavier products. But the rest of 400,000 barrels a day are purely Nigerian crude. After a detailed study that we have the capacity to produce that crude from the fields for at least a generation. And then we proceeded to build pipelines then of over 3,200 kilometers. Later, during Babangida's regime, Professor Amin put an additional depot and some pipelines to his base in Yola. And we also built more than 20 depots I couldn't remember the number of pumping stations. And we got the tankers off-road. It saved the economy. We used less fuel. We saved a lot of lives. We saved roads. And then when I came back again as head of state somehow, and I was lucky to get Professor Temdebi, was a highly committed Nigerian. And we pounced on illegal bunkering. And people abandoned their barges and tankers and ran for their dear lives. All our depots were choked with products. And we started exporting 100,000 barrels a day of refined products after satisfying home market. So honestly, I was in a state of shock when subsequent government reduced us into net importers and built in so much overhead in it that Nigerian will have to go and look for fuel from Europe or America, as any non-producing country will do. And then the question of this subsidy is still baffling me. Who is subsidizing who? I can understand Nigerians to buy at the end of the project at filling station the cost of per barrel of different Nigerian crude at wellhead, the cost of transportation to the refinery, the cost of refining, and the cost of refined products to the filling station. Maybe with some overhead so that the oil doesn't come too cheap. But people start talking of subsidy. Who's subsidizing who? And I know all these projects Nigeria committed. We didn't borrow a kobo. It was done through Nigerian savings. This will compare favorably to what is happening. We fought a 30-month civil war, very serious civil war for 30 months, with General Gond as head of state, with Chief of Femi Awolo as Commissioner of Finance and Deputy Chairman Executive Council. We didn't borrow a kobo. Now when Boko Haram is threatening Abuja, we ran to the to National Assembly to borrow $1 billion to fight them. The question of leadership in this country cannot win. Thank you very much.